Hello everyone and welcome to today's live Zoo to You. My name is Katie. I'm an educator here at the Stone Zoo, and today I am joined by Nora, who is one of our senior keepers here, and we are really excited to be talking all about our American Alligator, Shadow. So if you have any questions about her during the course of our video, please feel free to type them in the comments section and we'll be happy to answer them. We also have a live audience today, so if anyone in our audience has questions when we're taking them, you're welcome to shout them out and we can answer them live on Facebook for you. So Nora is going to be feeding Shadow today as we talk a little bit about her training. So first, should we introduce our star and see her?
She went into the water.
Oh, of course she did. So, Nora, can you tell us how old is Shadow?
So we aren't 100% sure how old she is. We believe she's around 7 or 8. They typically grow about a foot a year, and she is about 7 feet long.
And can you see Shadow year-round here at the Stone Zoo?
So Shadow is a visitor here. She came from St. Augustine's Alligator Farm in Florida. So she is here just for the summer. She came up in June. And she will stay here until it gets a little bit chillier. Alligators are ectotherms, which is a fancy word for cold-blooded. So she can't regulate her own body temperature. She needs to live places where it's a little bit warmer. So we do have a heated pool for her. It's about 68 degrees. And then the front of her exhibit is heated as well, so she can warm up. But once it gets a bit chillier, she will go back down to Florida.
And while Shadow is relaxing in the water, getting ready for a little lunchtime snack, in the video earlier you might have noticed, or if you visited the zoo in person, you might have noticed this very large wooden box that is right to the side of our alligator enclosure. So Nora, can you just tell us a little bit about what this box is and why it is important for Shadow's care and husbandry here at the zoo?
Yeah, so this box is very similar to a shipping crate that she came up to Massachusetts in, so it's very similar. The idea is to get her comfortable in a shipping crate so that when she makes her journey back home to Florida, it is comfortable for her, she feels safe, she feels calm, and everything is easy peasy for her and for us. So we don't have to get hands on her, she just puts herself in the box, gets a snack, and then heads on home.
So it looks like Shadow is very interested and maybe knows that it's time for a little snack and some training. So should we open up the training box and see if she comes over?
Absolutely.
All right, so right now Nora is opening up the shift door, which is going to give Shadow access to this very large training box. And we'll see if Shadow recognizes this movement and this behavior from Keeper Nora and wants to start participating in some training. Oh, here she comes. Taking a much needed break in the sun. And Nora, what is Shadow going to be snacking on today?
So we have a rat for her. It's one of her favorite treats. So depending on the type of training session we're doing, she'll either get a rat or some mice. She will occasionally get rabbits. In the wild, she would eat fish, turtles, frogs, birds, any small mammal. So she has a pretty varied diet. Here she mostly gets rodents. Do you want to come in? She's like, I don't know.
Taking her time warming up in the sun.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting on Shadow to see if she wants to participate, we've been calling Shadow she and a girl this entire time. How can you tell the difference between male and female alligators?
So the most foolproof way is with a blood test. They look pretty similar. Males tend to be a little bit larger. And another way that we know specifically that Shadow is a girl is the females will lay eggs. So since arriving here, Shadow has laid 32 eggs. So she is definitely a lady. The boys do not lay eggs.
That's quite the omelet.
Yes, it is.
So we'll see if she makes her way over.
She seems to be thinking about it.
She's thinking about it. So this is part of training and working with live animals, is that we do absolutely everything here at the zoo on their schedule. So if they choose to participate in training, that's wonderful. But if they are choosing not to participate that day, that is okay as well. Everything is done on their schedule, and we give them the choice on whether or not they want to train. So maybe the introduction of our rat here and seeing that up close will give everybody a good shot of that, will entice any interest from Shadow the alligator.
She's like, oh, is it here?
I think she's very interested in just being the star of Zoo to You right now, so.
She is loving the attention. Sweet girl.
Very slowly making her way over to the training box. So while we're waiting for Shadow to enter that training box, let's talk a little bit about alligator conservation. So a lot of people ask if alligators are an endangered species, and American alligators are not endangered. However, they did historically used to be endangered, and wow, that was very cool. And a lot of their conservation has happened in zoos. So they are still a protected species. They are commonly confused with the American crocodile, which is an endangered species. So by protecting both, even though American alligators are not endangered, we can make sure that we are protecting those other endangered species as well. So we'll turn it over to questions if anyone has any questions. Does anyone from our live audience have any questions about Shadow the alligator?
Alligators that you want Nora to answer, guys?
And if you're watching live, you can type those in the chat as well. But while we're waiting, Nora, can you tell us the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Yes, so alligators have a much rounder, wider snout, so it's more U-shaped, where crocodiles have a much pointier, narrower snout, which is kind of in the shape of a V. You can also see all of the crocodile's teeth when their mouth is shut. We like to call it a crocodile smile, where alligators, you can only see the top row of their teeth when their mouth is shut.
And I believe we have a question from our audience. Ooh, that was a really good question. So we're asking, how much does she eat throughout the course of a week?
Great question. So she typically will eat 4 to 5 times a week, once a day. So she will get either a rat or an equivalent amount of mice. So we go by a gram amount. So either she'll get a bunch of mice or one rat, sometimes a small rabbit, about 4 or 5 times a week.
And I have a question for you, Nora. What does Shadow like for enrichment items here at the zoo?
So she loves ice. So on the hot days, we were throwing some ice cubes into her pool, and she seemed to really like it. She would kind of swim around to them, kind of check them out. She also has a big ball in her pool that she'll push around. We sometimes give her novel food. So that's food that she wouldn't typically get. We've given her an apple. She loved that. We tried a carrot. She was not interested in the carrot. So we try a bunch of different things. She does have a nest that she built. So we early on provided her nesting material when she was laying. So that was a form of enrichment. And they've definitely tried different toys in the pool for her to kind of mess around with.
And I think we have another question.
So I'm wondering, what happens now? She's in the box, she got her rat. What happens now?
So now Shadow kind of gets to do whatever she wants. So if she wants to hang out in the box, she can hang out in the box. She usually, after a few minutes, will make her way back to her water. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer. She likes a nice dark break in there. So we don't make her leave the box. She does it on her own time, whatever she feels like doing.
Can she turn around in the box, or does she have to back out?
She will back out.
good question. All right, well, I believe we are just about all out of time. We want to thank all of you so much for joining us for today's live Zoo to You. Please come visit the Stone Zoo in person and say hello to Shadow before she heads back down south for the winter. Bye!